There's a few dates I flagged before today that are part of Jacob and Nathan's prophecy, and today is Wednesday the 31st of January 2018. So I thought we'll see what the weather's doing today. There's 3 more dates left, 8 dates altogether, starting on Wednesday 6th of December. The last one is Friday the 9th of March 2018. So what's going on with the weather on Wednesday 31st of January 2018, since this is one of the dates that we flagged.
Live from the Sky News Weather Centre, this is the 10-minute briefing.
10 a.m. Australian Eastern Daylight Time. It's just gone 7 a.m. if you're joining us live from the west, where we've seen flooding rainfall across the north. I'm Samantha Chiari, joined by our meteorologist Tristan Myers.
Samantha, good to see you. Thanks for joining us today. In just a moment, we're going to get an update on what's been happening Northern Territory, Darwin area, Daly River area as well with those flood evacuations. But then after that, we're going to focus on some international weather headlines because France is also experiencing some pretty significant flooding in very populated areas.
First, Tristan, let's take a look at the current temperatures across the nation. And we've well and truly seen a cool change move through New South Wales. Sydney is sitting on 19 degrees, Canberra with the increase in cloud cover, and of course the recent rainfall, you are sitting on 15.
Yes, Hull are fairly chilly right now, and below zero on Mount Wellington, where it's actually snowing right now. So let's take a look at some radar imagery. This is from the north of the country. Broome escaping some of that heavy rain right now. And just a few scattered showers and storms over the entire top end, but nothing like what we've seen over the past few days. The most persistent rainfall is definitely on the far north Queensland Peninsula. And then that band of rain moved over New South Wales last night in the ACT. But in its wake, we're also seeing a cold front that's sweeping over Tasmania right now, a southerly flow associated with it, and it is bringing a few snow showers to the Central Plateau regions.
Yeah, it's hard to believe Hobart was sitting in the early 30s, Tristan, on Monday, and now we're seeing snowfalls on Mount Wellington. So a day of extremes in terms of weather. Speaking of which, severe weather is still impacting parts of Northern Australia. For more on this, we're joined by our Sky News Northern Australia correspondent, Matt Cunningham.
Matt, thank you so much for joining us this morning. What's the latest on the flooding and the evacuation situation over there?
Well, Tristan, about 350 people have now been evacuated from the community of Daly River. Now, there's been major flooding there. The flood level has just peaked at about 14.8 metres at Daly River, but police had to undergo a major operation to get people out of that community yesterday. They actually had to fly them out by helicopter. There were 23 helicopters involved flying people out of Daly River to the town of Batchelor, where they were put on buses and then brought to the Darwin Showgrounds. Now, the last of those people began arriving there last night. There are about 350 people in total who have been taken from the Daly River community and brought into Darwin.
And look, as a Territorian, we all, we like the monsoon up there, but I guess last week's been a bit intense. What's sort of the local consensus on the weather recently? It's been hot, it's been very rainy. What's everyone thinking?
Well, I think you're right to say that Territorians usually welcome the monsoon, especially after the quite oppressive weather conditions we get in the build-up. But this has been in recent years. I've lived here for the best part of a decade, and I can't remember one that delivered us such consistent heavy rain as this monsoon has delivered. I think that we've had more than half a metre of rain in a week here in Darwin. It has just been torrential, and it's been consistently heavy downpours. The only time I can remember there being sort of similar amounts of rain was back in 2011 when Cyclone Carlos came through and dumped a tremendous amount of rain on Darwin. That has had people a little bit worried here. There were some flooding concerns for the suburbs around Rapid Creek here in Darwin's northern suburbs. Now, those areas were severely flooded during Cyclone Carlos, and there were concerns that we may see some flooding there again. Emergency services were handing out sandbags yesterday in that area for people to come and try to protect their homes. Now, hopefully we have for the now seen the last of that heavy rainfall. In fact, the sun is just coming out here in Darwin for, I reckon, the first time in about a week. But there are still some concerns re the flooding around Rapid Creek and those suburbs around Rapid Creek ahead of some big tides that are expected later in the week.
Matt Cunningham, Sky News Northern correspondent, thank you so much for that information. It's always good to have a local perspective, particularly that Rapid Creek situation, which I have heard people talking about. A little bit of spillage going through the Darwin River right now. That dam now, I've heard that it's designed to spill, but I'm not sure when it was constructed. So it might have been constructed in response to that 2011 Cyclone Carlos, but I'm not entirely sure about that situation. It's something we'll have to check on and get back to, because flood levels still rising for some parts of the Daly River, and again, some flooding concerns around Rapid Creek.
And of course, in WA, the far north, Broome has now seen record January rainfall, the heaviest rain for January ever.
Yes.
And it's said to be a leading weather story across the west coast now. Of course, it's more than what we did see when Tropical Cyclone Joyce hit a couple of weeks ago.
I know, it's pretty intense. We did have a tropical low, though, and a tropical low is kind of just a weak tropical cyclone, more or less. But it kind of goes to show you, I mean, it doesn't really matter on the strength of the cyclone or the tropical low. What matters is the rain and where it hits. So this system was slow moving. It had copious amounts of moisture, came at the right time, hit the right part of the coast, and Broome was flooded from it.
And as a result, it's not looking too ideal there at all. We'll have more on that from our Sky News Perth reporter, Nicole Hamer, in the coming hours. For the time being, though, please stay tuned. In 60 seconds, we'll give you a brief break from Australian weather. We're taking you to Europe and Asia.
So Carlos was a bit of a naughty boy back in 2011. And speaking of flooding, there's also a lot of floods happening in France at the moment. So that's what they're about to have on the Weather Channel now on the 10-minute briefing. So we'll catch up on France. And I think we're back on. I rewound too far. It's snowing in Tasmania. Look at this. Awesome. Okay.
Starts next Wednesday, 8:30 on National Geographic.
You're back with us live on the 10-minute briefing. Take a look at these images.
Yes, this is not something taken from months ago. This is taken from a few hours ago in Tasmania, near Lyowini, the Great Lake Hotel. That is snow that you're seeing right there. Also snowing Mount Wellington this morning, probably right at the elevated portion of that. No snow for Hobart, but it is a cool day.
Tell you what, I know everyone says Melbourne has 4 seasons in one day, but Hobart has had about 3 in a week, the way they're tracking.
Yeah, absolutely. 30-degree heat, right back down to snowfalls.
Now, flooding isn't just occurring across our nation. We're taking you to Europe now, where the river levels in the famous River Seine, I think I said that right, have been receding. Now, this is off the back of some very, very heavy downpours over the last couple of weeks. A couple of weather systems did lead to it. It also led to the evacuation of the ground level of the Louvre Museum, which is quite significant given how much history is in that particular museum. Tristan, more showers and thunderstorms are forecast in France tomorrow, so it's not looking ideal.
Yes, exactly. So flood levels receding, but all this wet rain will do is basically just exacerbate conditions for this region. It doesn't look as heavy or as widespread, but if anything, it'll have an emotional impact. People in floodwaters and dealing with floodwaters, the last thing they want to see is more rain on the forecast. Doesn't look that bad, but still, more rain on the way tomorrow, and then it looks cold there afterwards, too.
And not ideal across parts of Europe with that flooding situation. A more lighthearted international weather story now. We're taking you to Asia, where recent snowfall has led to a certain fella enjoying the winter wonderland of what is northeast China. Now, it is common for this time of the year to see heavy snowfall. I'm not surprised given the temperatures we've been seeing across northern Asia. How spectacular.
It is very cool. Yeah, you know, there's always one of these panda snow stories that come out every now and then. I think they just sit there waiting for it to snow and then they film the pandas.
Yeah, it is quite cute though.
It is. You can't deny that. Yeah, I mean, very cold there. No cold front on the cards for the next few days. There's a big high-pressure system moving over, bringing frosty mornings. So we'll probably see more of these little photos. Oh, it's a red panda. How cool.
Lovely. Okay, back home where we have showers and thunderstorms once again for the Gulf and also the far northern tropics. It's a hot one through Queensland.
Yeah, it really is. 34 for Brisbane and mid-30s for central and western parts of the Brisbane Valley. Toom also going for 34 degrees. That relief is coming tomorrow. Stay tuned to the fly around with Samantha for more on that. Wednesday we do have a few showers and areas of rain for New South Wales, but thankfully it's a much cooler day throughout. A bit windy in the west. Cool throughout Victoria today, feeling more autumnal than any anything else. Yeah, light shower for the coast, but sunny breaks frequently in between. Cold throughout Tasmania. That cold front's passing over and it's bringing some showers. The bushwalkers alert has been cancelled, but it is still snowing for some areas. It will ease throughout the afternoon, however. In South Australia, mostly sunny in the southeast there, and cloud capping temps over the north and the western Australia showing off. If you like summer, this is the place to be. Perth on 31 degrees, up to Darwin 34. Heavy rain in the interior though, capping temps on Leonora, 19 degrees. A few storms possible around the territory today, but nothing like what we've seen over the last few days.
And looking ahead, Tristan, we have a bit of a rain event unfolding for Queensland this weekend.
It is. It's not too bad, but it does look like some areas are going to get upwards of 100 millimeters or so. It's just not going to be that widespread. But yes, rain on the way, very welcome, particularly for those central parts of the coast around the Mackay region, the Rockhampton region. All of these areas are on track to receive some pretty good rainfall, and hopefully if the models keep on doing what they're doing, then we could see months worth of rain for some of these areas.
And Tristan will be up shortly with his rain totals report. He'll tell you more on that. I'll be up shortly with another live weather update. Please stay tuned.
Okay, so snow in China, snow in Tasmania, and today, Wednesday 31st of January, Jacob, J-A-C-O-B, if you add up those letters according to their places in the alphabet, Jacob equals 31, which is today's date. And on the night of 31st of January in Minnesota, there's going to be a blue moon, the second full moon of the month, and it's also going to be a blood moon over Australia because there's going to be a total lunar eclipse, and it will be on the 1st of February in Australia, but it will be the 31st of January in Minnesota, but there won't be an eclipse in Minnesota. So there's something interesting. Minnesota, the land of ice and snow. So the last three dates are the 7th of February, the 16th of February and the 9th of March. What's going to happen, I don't know. Maybe there's a clue in the cyclone names for this year. The first one, Dahlia, was named by Indonesia because it formed just below Java at the end of November. So Dahlia, Hilda, Irving and Joyce. And all the flooding that's occurring up north now was caused by a tropical low, not a cyclone because it never went over the ocean, never got strong enough to become a cyclone. But the next one that does form will be named Kelvin, then Linda, Marcus, Nora, Owen, Penny, Riley, and I've done up to Savannah there. And if you add up all those letters, it equals 741, and that's the number of days between Saturday 27th February 2016 and Friday 9th of March 2018, which is the last date on my list of dates. Friday 9th of March 2018. So it is 741 days after Saturday 27th of February. That is my best friend's birthday. He was born on Saturday 9th of March 1991 and he's turning 27. So there's a pretty cool reflection right there.